guys, welcome back. So I just finished hatching out a batch of quail. I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing cleaned up because it's kind of a mess. But let me go ahead and give you some talking points of what I've been doing lately that's helped me in getting our little quails all set up and growing properly. Now, for a lot of those who are watching this right now, I'm sure this is probably your first time in hatching quail, so you're just trying to learn anything and everything that you possibly can to go ahead and take care of your new brood that you've got. So I've got a couple points here that I want to go ahead and address here before we get into the actual taking care of them stage. Once your chicks are actually getting close to hatching, this is probably going to be like day 16 or day 17 that you're looking at this. So you're going to want to make sure that, obviously the humidity is high enough on your incubator. That way it gives them a chance to be able to break free of those shells, because sometimes those shells are really, really hard, and we want to make sure that humidity is as high as possible. That way they can break through. Within the first 24 hours of the quail hatching, that's probably going to be about all that you're going to have. If you want to wait 48 hours after the first quail hatches, that's probably going to be the latest that you're going to see any of those quail hatching out of those eggs. Now, you're going to want to leave them in there as long as you possibly can. Once you see that some of them are nice and fluffy, then you can go ahead and start removing them from the incubator. But you'll probably want to wait until all of them have hatched out. Waiting 24 hours is perfectly fine. But once you see that most of them have already hatched, then you can go ahead and pull them out, and then you can go ahead and start putting them in the brooder box. Now, when it comes to a brooder box or a container, it could be just about anything that you have around your home. I've standardly used cardboard boxes. I've even used a terrarium to go ahead and house them in the meantime. The only thing that I found with the terrarium is that it does capture and retain a lot of heat. So that possibly can kill the chicks, because there's not really a lot of ventilation, a lot of airflow that's able to get in there. So they can overheat and just die. But you can go ahead and use any of those plastic containers that you put any of your storage in. I'll show you here real quick. Just like this one, and then you can go ahead and put them in. Now, when it comes to the height of the lamp, you do want to be able to have it in an area where you can adjust it up and down. That way, the chicks don't overheat, but you don't want them to be too cold. Now, the chicks themselves will tell you everything that you need to know about the heat lamp. If they're all bunched up together, really, really, really close, that means that there's not enough heat getting to them. If they are far apart from each other, it means that the heat lamp is way too close. But if you can kind of see them scattered here and there, just about more or less like that, then the heat's probably in a good position where it's at. So right now, this is approximately about 10 inches above from where they're at. It's a 75 watt bulb, and it seems to be doing them just fine. I've had these containers here for a while, so this is an actual feeder that I had for my baby chicks, for for my chickens. I just went ahead and removed the top of it and just threw some crumbles in there, just enough that they could be able to hop in and get out. Otherwise, they aren't really able to get up in there because it is so tall, and they're not able to get into the middle of the dish right here. And this is just a simple watering station that uses a mason jar. I've propped it up on one side because I find that the water level does hang out really, really low on these, and so I just propped it up just enough, that way they can be able to reach it on that end, but once you get taller, they can be able to get in a lot more. For the cardboard boxes, you don't have to put down any paper towels. You're more than welcome to. I find that putting down paper towels in a cardboard box, and also in this container or in any kind of container that you keep them in, usually allows them to be able to grasp onto the floor a lot better, especially with this one, since it's kind of got its legs are sprawling out on it. Sorry about the footage there, but it's having a hard time actually walking around. But with this paper towel, it does give it a little bit more grip, so that way it can walk around, and it makes for easier cleanup, especially once they get a little bit older. In about 4 weeks or so, I'll be able to sex them, and I'll be able to know what gender that they are. But that's about the time that they do want to try experiencing flight. They'll be testing out their wings the whole time, and a container this high, again, it's probably about 10 inches high, they will fly out. Every single time, they will fly out. So I've had cardboard boxes where they get higher and higher, but they still find a way to be able to get out. They'll jump up on top of this, or they'll just scale out of it every single time. And I'll find a chick randomly around in my office here where I keep them. And at that point, that tells you that they are now getting ready to, be out on their own. That's really when they don't need that heat lamp, is when they're starting to escape and get out. So you'll want to get them into an actual cage instead of in just a cardboard box, because that's all they're going to want to do is get out, and get out. These chicks are approximately 5 weeks old. You can definitely tell which ones are the males and the females by this age. Got a nice little male right over there. You can tell by his little feathers. And then obviously this one is a female, as you can tell by the speckles on her chest. I keep them outside right now, so they are kind of still needing the heat lamp, just because it's about in the 40s to the 50s, so it's still a little bit cold for them, but this is more than adequate for them to go ahead and keep them warm. But if you're keeping them in the house or anything like that, then you probably won't need to have a heat lamp, because they're just going to be using their ambient body temperatures to go ahead and keep them warm and the heat inside of your house. Other than that, that is the basic care of baby quail. If you have any kind of questions, go ahead and put it in the comments below. Otherwise, like and subscribe.